Oh, hi, Sean.
Gorgeous tuna.
Yeah, right? What a hit, huh?
Yeah.
Both of us trying to get a nap in. And what the heck?
Wake up Phil.
Thank you. Who did that, John? Oh,
He woke you up though, but I was like, somebody's gonna wake him up.
Javante, thank you. Dude, what do you think, man?
Yeah.
What a fish.
Epic trip.
I'm
Epic
telling
trip.
you, it just went from
Epic trip.
a really good trip to one that we're never going to forget, right? What'd
That's
you
what
think?
happens when you come along with the Freedman Adventures, baby.
Oh, I love you guys,
Yeah.
man. Woo! Thanks. Way to go, man. Please don't forget to support the Freedman Adventures family members who make this all possible, like the taxman, Tim Marquez, and your garage door man, Joe Welker, who does a great job and gets rave reviews here at Freedman Adventures. Heating and or air conditioning needs, it's our dear friend John Lopez, and also the Island Spirit, Ventura Sport Fishing. You can't beat it. Chris Isaac and the El Patron out of Long Beach Sport Fishing, www.longbeachsportfishing.org.
Get out of bed and wake up the kids, 'cause you know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Fishing reports up and down the coast with Phil Freedman, your coffee-loving host. So much fishing intel, it feels like cheating when you tune into the morning briefing. Inshore, offshore, from the surf, bluefin, yellowtail, pod, surf, perch. Tell you where the fish are and what they're eating when you tune into the morning briefing. So give it a like and subscribe. Hit that bell to be notified of all the fishing content coming your way. Freedman Adventures is here to make your fishing day. It's a morning briefing. Morning briefing.
Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. I'm a little bit hoarse. You're going to have to forgive me. We're fresh in from a 2-day trip on board the Apollo out of C4 Sport Fishing in San Diego. What a great group of people that showed up for this trip, and I thank each and every one of you. And what great fishing. We had limits for all of the passengers, and you can throw on crew limits on the bluefin tuna. We not only caught that fish in the 8 to 25, 30 pound class, we got to stop on the really big monsters at night. It was fantastic. I'll tell you all about that. But big news, the Pongueros out of Ensenada, all over the yellowfin tuna this morning. They are catching YFT as that yellowfin tuna pushes up the coast. The Pacific Queen had 260 YFT on a recent trip. It can't get much better. And oh yeah, they threw on some bluefin tuna. Fishing right now is great. And our weather on our trip was fantastic. You couldn't have asked for any more. There's still some local fishing we'll talk about up north, and we'll talk about everything that's going on, because you know what time it is. Oh my God, it is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh, I better have one more of those. So great to be back here with you all again. What a trip. I am still on a high. And you know, I'm not going to mention any one angler. I am going to mention one. Just one on our trip, because there were so many great people. Every single person was great. The crew was great. The fishing was great. But 9-year-old Warner caught his first bluefin tuna on our trip. Then he caught his second bluefin tuna, his third, his fourth, his fifth, his sixth, his seventh. I think he had 10 bluefin tuna for a 9-year-old young man from a great family, father and son working together on this trip, surrounded by great people. It couldn't have been any better. Hey, if you don't mind, one more of these. Hit that like button. I'm going to be sharing a ton of the video. We'll produce an entire video, but I'll be letting some shorts out today, as well as some longer version stuff on our trip. If you don't mind, share these videos everywhere. Make sure you subscribe to the Freeman Adventures YouTube channel as we give it the Tootsie report and see how this water feels. And make sure you tick, nice water, you that little rotten, filthy, disgusting little bell, and you'll be notified when there is new content. You can follow us over there on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So great to be with you all. All right, let's go south of the border. I'm going to start you out in Ensenada today because that is really starting to happen. There are boats very close to home. Pangeros are out there right now, and they are on the yellowfin tuna. Our friend Louis Prieto from the number 4 Reels Sport Fishing in Ensenada. You can Google him, find him on Facebook, send him a private message. Go fishing for yellowfin tuna with Louis. Louis Prieto from It's 4 Real Sport Fishing, just arriving on scene here this beautiful Friday morning. He's going to give us some updates later on today, so we'll continue to watch that for you very, very closely. We had that yellowfin tuna down there at 100 miles. Now it's about 60 miles from San Diego, which is great news. That's what those Ensenada boys are on. And the inclination seems to be to push further up in this direction. Who knows? Full day boats out of San Diego are going to get a piece of this really, really soon. I'm talking about the San Diego out of C4 Sport Fishing and other guys. And it might push in here to SoCal. You just never know. This is the time of the year, we told you, when you get that kind of a bite. And it looks like those fish are starting to push up here. Carlos Cortez Sport Fishing out of Popola will be on this. There's also some yellowtail zooming around. I know that Louis Prieto yesterday was trolling just off the Hotel Corral, where he came up with 3 nice yellowtail on trolled rapalas. So there's some of that. There's barracuda flurries going on in Ensenada. That's continuing. And also some sand and calico bass and plenty of rockfish down in that neck of the woods. As our dear friend Valentino goes by. Valentino, buenos dias, mi hermano. All right, so really good stuff going on south of the border. And sometimes when we look down that way, we get a preview of what's to come to Southern California. Don't put your rods and reels away. I can tell you from our Apollo trip that it's way too early. This season is just starting to hit its stride. Yellowfin tuna, most of that fish, from what I'm hearing, is 8 to 20 pounds. A few bigger, even a few smaller than that. Not huge yellowfin, but it's yellowfin, and it's biting really, really well. Just received these photos from my dear friend Victor at Bluefin Sport Fishing in beautiful Ensenada. They are catching yellowfin tuna. It's really, really good. We're looking forward to a great season for Victor at Bluefin Sport Fishing and the rest of the Ensenada boys as that yellowfin pushes closer and closer to San Diego, California. Tomahawk limits of yellowfin tuna on their most recent trip. What a trip on the Pacific Queen, as they had 108 bluefin, 270 on the yellowfin tuna. Tremendous fishing on the Nulo, and 100 plus bluefin tuna for limits. And also we saw the Aztec, 43 bluefin, 12 yellowtail, 2 Dorado, 134 on the yellowfin tuna. A little bit of Dorado mixed in there also. Remember, yellowfin tuna is a warmer water species. We start to see that in the fall when our water warms up, and maybe some of that influence from some of the hurricanes that push warm water up in this direction. It all is adding up for a great fall. And add to it, the fall is when we have our best weather months here in Southern California. And I can tell you, we had great weather on our Apollo trip. It was one heck of a trip. Let me switch you over to Bluefin tuna. We were on Cortez Bank, and I'll focus in on our experience because it's fresh, and I can tell you all about it. I will also mention some of the other guys. Anchored up on Cortez Bank on a beautiful morning. It was absolutely gorgeous, and started catching fish immediately. In fact, John had the first bluefin tuna on deck a big USC fan for that matter. Man, I'm going to have to bet against Notre Dame because John was such a gentleman and did such a great job on this trip. Immediately started catching bluefin tuna in the 8 to 20 pound class. For the most part, it was what we call a plunker bite. Maybe at the very most we had 6 going, but most of the time it was 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, a bite like that. Choosing a good hot bait, essential. Changing that bait quickly, a short soak, maybe a minute, and you're changing your bait and tossing another one. Ryan Block, the captain, said many times an underhand cast is even better. Your bait hits the water, doesn't flop, it doesn't mess it up at all. It's a great way to make a little cast and get your bait to swim away from the boat. Other times, a nice long cast would work. And when you got anywhere near, I'm talking about your bait, anywhere near those birds that are diving everywhere on the bait that's getting forced up by those bluefin tuna, you got a bite. 25 pound worked great. We were using blacktail hooks, a lot of us were, and it worked fantastic. Those ring circle hooks just seem to get the job done. Incidentally, want to thank Blacktail Hooks for sponsoring this great trip. Tuna, Riot, Poppers, thank you so much. And Promar, Ahi, thank you so much for sponsoring the trip. So some really great fishing. And by just after 12 noon, we were starting to near passenger limits on the bluefin tuna. We're going to cut it off when we hit limits, and then we had crew limits, another bunch of fish that we could catch at night. So we ended up limiting out. It was great fishing, beautiful weather, and then we motored out to the zone where the big bluefin tuna had been biting. We were talking to the Polaris Supreme, who was having extraordinary fishing on 60 to 150, even some 200-pound bluefin tuna. And then we got into that zone, and oh my God, what a hit on the bluefin tuna. We ended up with 15 of those big fish, most of it coming out of one stop. Everybody who dropped got a bite on that. And John Garma, our dear friend, Travis Bright, yeah, Chris Ibarra, just to name a few of the hot sticks we had on board, they were putting the wood to them. John Garma's fish, maybe $1.80, beautiful fish. Chris Ibarra all over it, Travis Bright all over it. Great fishing on those bluefin tunas they wanted to chew. In fact, the last time I heard from the Polaris Supreme, they'd pushed up toward limits on that big great fish, biting really well at night, about 100 miles from San Diego. And man, I'll tell you, getting down quickly, and I'm going to put a video out on this with Captain John. Normally you've seen John over there on the Pacific Queen, but he was on our Apollo trip doing the nighttime captaining, putting us on those fish. He's going to tell you all about it. He says getting down first, I don't care what color it is, I don't care anything about that. Getting down to where those fish are is the most important thing. Wow, what a hit we have. We end up with limits of bluefin tuna on this spectacular trip. And again, I know this sounds like a broken record. All of you who were on that trip, great, wonderful people. Thank you so very, very much. Once again, at night, 80 pound, 65 pound braid works fine. It gives you plenty of pulling power on those fish. Fish anywhere, or I should say, the size of the jigs anywhere from 240 to 3, maybe 400. You really didn't need it that heavy, and they worked really good. And I know John Garma and Travis and also Chris are big on the West Coast Jigger HD lures. They said they worked really, really well. Great fishing for us and many other boats. I'm just focusing in on our trip because it was so damn good. It was really good. Everybody on a high when we unloaded yesterday evening. So really good stuff. And many other boats are in on that kind of fishing. So we have bluefin, we've got yellowfin. What more could you possibly want? Let's talk about our islands. Down there at the Coronado Islands, a periodical hit on yellowtail. No big numbers, but anywhere I would say from 3 to maybe 12 yellowtail for the boats fishing the Coronado Islands. There's plenty of other species there. Rockfish, calico bass, occasional barracuda to help fill the sacks. Well, nobody's filling sacks anymore. I'm really dating myself, but to catch more fish for sure. San Clemente Island, we want to thank Marcus on board the Fury for passing us some squid when we got in there yesterday morning so we could catch a few rockfish before we booted it for San Diego. On board the Fury yesterday, they had 11 yellowtail mostly that big grade dropper loop style yellowtail catching there at San Clemente Island in beautiful calm seas in the cove. It was great. Thunderbird with 18 on the yellowtail in there. So there's still some of that bigger grade yellowtail. And you know, I should mention the Fury had 43 calico bass. So there's still squid. There's still some of that big grade yellowtail. There's a few white sea bass roaming around. It's really good fishing, and you're right there, really close to the bluefin tuna ground. So really awesome stuff. No doubt about that. Incidentally, I think we have 2 spots left on our Amigo trip, which sails from 22nd Street Landing, October the 5th, which is a Sunday. And Anthony, Mad Dog, he's already promised a tri-tip feast before we leave. So we'll be serving up dinner in the Freeman Adventure studio at 22nd Street Landing before we take off on our last 2-day trip of 2025. Where did this year ago? Man, it has been absolutely fantastic. Great fishing going on over there at Catalina Island. The El Patron from Long Beach Sport Fishing had a nice day yesterday with the yellowtail and 72 bonita, picked at the bass and the rockfish to go along with that. El Patron runs every single day out of beautiful Long Beach Sport Fishing. You can jump on by going to www.longbeachsportfishing.org to get on the El Patron. Special weekday low prices, $1.25, and they are even heading it over to Santa Barbara Island at times. So really good stuff going on there. Up in the Channel Islands, haven't seen those big sea bass and or halibut hits here recently. By the way, I'll be up in Ventura giving a speech at the Ventura Rod and Reel Club on Wednesday night. Looking forward to meeting all of you fine ladies and gentlemen up there on Wednesday. There's been, you know, a few hits on exotics up there, but steady rock fishing going on up there in that neck of the woods. Aloha Spirit, what am I talking about? 13 halibut. That's a heck of a good score there. The Coral Sea, limits on the lingcod out of Santa Barbara with good fishing. Avila Beach, Morro Bay, great rock fishing up there in that neck of the woods. San Francisco, you get a weather window. There's great rock fishing offshore. There's been the occasional albacore up there when you get offshore. Inside, catching striped bass and halibut. It's been phenomenal fishing in San Francisco. Along the coast, we're just picking at the fish. However, there's a lot of yellowtail zooming around La Jolla. The new Seafort the other day had 20 plus yellowtail. There's still yellow zooming around, bringing a surface iron, a yo-yo iron, and being ready to fly line a bait on 25-pound fluorocarbon. It's a great idea. A little bit of bass everywhere, but I mean a little. Dana Wharf Sport Fishing catching a lot of short and sand bass and calico bass, but for the most part, we're looking at sculpin, rockfish, whitefish, sheephead, that kind of razzmatazz here on the local scene. That's what we've been looking at. And here in the Southern California surf, I'll point you down to our dear friends at Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California. They've got all the bait you'll need for a successful day in the Southern California surf. And they've also got all the tackle you'll need to take on bluefin, white sea bass, yellowtail, and anything your little heart desires. Really great stuff in terms of all of that. We've been picking at a few more yellowfin, croaker, and corvina. It's been an off year for corvina in most areas up there in the Santa Monica Bay, which I'll talk about in just a moment. It's been pretty good. Down there, Anderson Street and Pacific Coast Highway, a little bit more yellowfin croaker. This is the time of the year when we'll get a bite on spotfin croaker, long cast. If you can find a sandworm in the sand, digging those up, that's a great bait. But down there at Big Fish, they have some worms. You can also use ghost shrimp. If you're gonna focus on those fish, spotfin croaker, they're bait biters. Rarely catch them on an artificial, so you want to keep that in mind. There's an occasional halibut in here also, and also up there in Long Beach, occasional halibut. Up in the Santa Monica Bay around the Topaz Rock Jetty, we continue to see some pretty darn good fishing with regard to corvina. Same thing up there around El Segundo, where it's been really good. Wow, what a trip on the Apollo. It was phenomenal. Thanks again, everybody who showed up for that trip. I would start naming people, but I would leave somebody out, and I really don't want to do that because every single one of you were awesome. And I've got to tell you, Captain Ryan Block and the crew of the Apollo, absolutely fantastic. But Ryan came up to me and he said, Phil, I don't think we've had a group who lost less fish than your guys on this trip. We lost very few fish in that bite at night, very, very few. And that's big grade bluefin, you know, 60 to pushing 200 pounds. And during the daytime, he said, you guys just kept kind of plunking away, steady fishing, nobody losing any fish. That really helped us put the kind of day and score together that we had. Ryan, great job. Thank you so much. And listen, everybody, make sure you are in tune to Friedman Adventures because we have got so much great fishing to show you from that trip, including some really great tackle tips, including a visit up in the wheelhouse with Captain John from the Pacific Queen, who was doing the nighttime fishing for us, explaining exactly what to look for when you're sonaring around for fish. Very, very interesting stuff, and how to choose a hot bait and how to catch more fish. We'll have that all for you in the coming days. In the meantime, it was such a pleasure to fish with so many great people. Can't wait to do it again, you guys. Thank you so very, very much. And if I don't see you somewhere really, really soon, I hope to see you somewhere else really, really soon. Have a great one. Take care, and best of fishing to you all. Back into Seaforth with a great catch here. Great fishermen on this trip and a lot of really beautiful fish.